Hi, and welcome to Terri Talks. We have the infamous Connor Evans here with DBSync. Connor, tell me about DBSync and what is going on.
Hey, Terry, thanks for having me on again. It's always great to see you. Lots going on at DBSync. So we recently expanded our replication portfolio. We are now replicating not only Dynamics CE, not only Business Central, but also the F&O stack, supply chain and operations. So we've got all of the Dynamics 365 applications covered now with our replication product, and we are super excited about it.
So tell me, what are the real general needs? If I'm a partner out there and I'm looking at DBSync, why would I need this?
That's a great question. Okay. So I've been thinking a lot about this, and really it comes down to one key point. So every Dynamics partner is already selling migrations, they're already doing implementations, and a majority of them have some kind of Power BI or data analytics practice. And what replication does is multiplies the value of all three of those. And it adds a recurring revenue stream that most of them aren't capturing today. I mean, it's really about creating a new billable service category with data warehouse setup, Power BI model creation, Fabric and Synapse ingestion pipelines, historical data archiving. Dynamics only keeps
How far
30
back in
days.
historical? Let's talk about that for a second, because I've heard some real fun topics from you and the group about this, like historicals. So most people go back so many years.
Yeah. So really what we found, and this is a need that came out of our initial client for replication. We built this for Scotiabank and we've rolled it out to, I want to say 30 different instances of their environments. And the reason they needed it was audit and compliance, right? You need history tracking. You need to be able to see the changes in time over your data. You need to be able to know who made what change, what date. You need point in time backups. And with Dynamics, as great of a platform as it is, it's only holding on to that 30-day history, right? If you're going to do a refresh. Let's say you need to report on historical data. What replication does, it allows you to take a clean copy of all of the underlying data within your Dynamics environment, and you can keep that as long as you want, as long as you need, and you can do backdated reporting on it as well.
I see. And that has a lot to do with reducing the load on the live system so that whenever you do need something, you can pull it out. The way I'm understanding it, you pull it out when you need it, but it's really not weighing heavy on the live system.
Yeah, so that's a really good point too. And one of the problems and pain points that we see with customers, and really it ends up becoming the partners who get the brunt of it, is you can implement Dynamics, but if the data within it is not easily reportable, the partner's going to end up hearing all the flack from the customer. So you
Okay.
run into API throttling or Power BI refresh limits, or customers demanding data pipelines from not just ERP, but CRM, and expensive ingestion layers too, if you're trying to do it all natively within Fabric, for example, or Synapse. So if we can take that out and get it into, say, an on-premise SQL, for example, or any other data warehouse, a lot of these customers might be using Snowflake, they might be using Databricks. This now
Right.
makes it accessible where they need it and in a scalable way.
Wow. So let's talk about data warehousing and cloud strategy, as we may call it. Everybody has a different name for it. So what's your take on that? And what makes the difference between you and anybody else out there?
Yeah, I would say with us, we've regularly ranked number 1 in the world for ease of use, right? And our history as a company comes not just in the replication space, but also the data integration space. And in 2026, one of the most important trends we've been seeing is centralizing data so that you can leverage AI, you can leverage analytics. What we help do is orchestrate that data maneuvering so that we get it ready for however you're going to layer on those LLMs or those analytics programs that you're going to run on top of it. And we really understand not just the Microsoft ecosystem. We've been platform agnostic for a long time, and customers use 100 apps today, right?
Yeah.
So you need someone who's going to be a trusted partner in getting the data from applications you might not have interfaced with before so that you
Right.
can be the one that your customer relies on. as the trusted partner for their analytics business as well. And that's a massive business.
Yeah, that is a massive business. But we know how where Microsoft's going, that they really feel that every customer needs to have the full stack. And not everybody is going to have the full stack.
Sure.
Being that said, we can easily, with the replicator, have our data there and have the security and governance there as we're moving our clients and customers into the Microsoft stack one by one, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this product, it not only assists with the analytics piece, it assists with the migrations as well. It assists with massaging the data. Even thinking about it this way, let's say you have a client who is on Business Central and eventually might need to go to F&O. You need to get that data out of Business Central and be able to massage it in a queryable SQL database, right? Do your data manipulations and get it ready for loading into F&O. So there's a million different use cases that I think are really valuable for partners and their end customers. It just makes the data so much more accessible for you.
So let's go into the process and performance impacts for a Business Central or an F&O or a CE. It doesn't matter which stack you're in, right? Let's talk about the performance impact. Not only multi-regions or instances, security governance, and deployments. So let's talk about really the syncing issues that might be there and moving these to large databases. Talk to me a little bit about that and the impact.
Yeah, so it's going to depend on which systems we're talking about replicating, right? Because there are particularities with CE versus Business Central versus F&O, which is a whole other beast, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we're connecting to CE, for example, or sales or field service or any of the CRM modules, right? We can use OData to connect directly and everything is going to be replicable immediately. When
Okay.
you're working with something like Business Central, for example, you may have to expose web services for particular API pages that you need exposed if you need timestamps for incremental loading of data.
Mhm.
When you're working with F&O, we can connect directly through Azure Synapse, take the CSV files and replicate those into a database. What's really interesting about that, and I'm excited about this because this is the most recent product that we've rolled out, is folks are very used to going directly into Fabric with this, and they're incurring enormous compute costs on that replication. And what
Okay.
we can do is if we're going directly from F&O into a local SQL database or any database that they'd like to go into, we're bypassing that compute mechanism and they are saving a ton of money on compute cost.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Tell me what else is going on with DBSync? You guys have got some great stuff going on. I know we're going to be heading into some conferences. We've had an outstanding year. We were just in Directionsemia.
Oh, yeah.
So if you had something right now that you'd really like to put out there for the partners, what would you say?
I would say if you haven't yet sat down with us, had a conversation, learned about what we can do, not only from a technical standpoint, but from a partner standpoint, from a strategic standpoint, please reach out and have that conversation with me. I'm trying to build, and Terri's helped me tremendously with this, a partner program that is really mutually beneficial and very generous for partners.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to more of you if I haven't had a conversation with you yet.
Yeah. Then the takeaways. So I'm challenging all you partners. Hey, talk to me. I'll tell you. Ask me anything about DBSync. Let's get a hold of Connor. Let's get those appointments set up. I will be following up very soon with a lot of emails coming towards you. Connor, if you had one thing to say about DBSync and the replicator, what would you like to leave the partners with?
I think a lot of partners are leaving money on the table, and not just a dollar value, but also services that would really benefit your customers and make them stickier with you. If you are now managing the orchestration layer for the analytics side of their business, you're not just handling transactional jobs for them. you're a strategic necessity for their data strategy, right?
Okay.
This makes you so necessary to multiple components of their business. So I get really excited about that.
That's awesome. And I can't wait to learn more. So we're going to be doing some more of this. And Connor, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the Terri Talks.
Thank you so much, Terri. I really appreciate you having me on, and it's always a pleasure.